Welcome back to the YumYum Report, a new series on my channel where I'll give frequent, short, punchy updates on the Gold Coast theme parks, as well as other theme parks and attractions in Australia. I'll also be covering updates on popular theme parks around the world such as Disney and Universal, so stay tuned for that. This week we took a short visit into Movie World to check out the deconstruction for Doomsday Destroyer, as well as to see if there was anything else new happening in the park. We're now starting to enter the quieter season for the Gold Coast theme parks, which is usually when they start to do annual maintenance and work and upgrades and things. The first thing we noticed when we entered the park was that there's been some maintenance going on for Batwing Space Shot. As far as I'm aware, there's no new upgrades or any additions being made to this attraction at all, so it's just some annual maintenance and some touch-ups, I suppose. I've never actually been on this ride before. I'm sure I've mentioned it frequently, but I'm not a huge thrill ride person. I much prefer the slower, more relaxing attractions. Just generally enjoying the atmosphere and vibe of the theme parks. But I would be interested to hear what other people think of this ride. Have you ridden it before? Let me know in the comments. Next we moved along to check out the progress on Doomsday Destroyer. Not much has happened since my last video on this. It looks like all the work that they were doing on it kind of happened at that time. So there hasn't been anything new that I'm aware of since then. We did notice, however, that there was a bit of wear and tear going on around the area. Some pieces of one of the structure were kind of decaying a bit and falling off. Next we had a quick look in the Wild West Falls area, which surprisingly had a really great atmosphere this week. They seemed to be playing some music, which sometimes they don't have any music playing and it feels a bit eerie. Today it had a really nice atmosphere, and I feel like the music is definitely to thank for that, which just goes to show how important these things are to the park for the overall atmosphere and vibe. So I really hope that they continue keeping this up. It is kind of like a bare minimum thing, so it's not too hard. Heading back towards the front of the park, we had a quick peek at the Scooby-Doo spooky coaster building. It's not really easy to tell what's going on at the moment and where the progress is for this attraction, which is set to open again in late 2025. It's personally my favorite attraction at Movie World. You can ride it over and over again and never get tired. And I will be making a separate video covering the updates and new additions being made to this attraction, which are quite exciting. Next we headed down the alleyway that leads from the Scooby-Doo Spooky Coaster ride to the Wizard of Oz precinct. This is quite a strange place in the park. Surrounded by green walls, it feels a bit empty. I kind of would have hoped that they would theme it to maybe the Wizard of Oz somehow, which I suppose they have by painting it green, but yeah, it doesn't exactly get you in the mood for Wizard of Oz. Maybe they could have put the yellow brick road here as well. I did notice, looking up, that some of the old theming for the Chinatown alleyway that was here for the Lethal Weapon ride is still there, and it's been painted green to kind of blend in. I wonder why this particular piece of theming is still there. Some other elements that kind of remain as remnants of the past, parts of the old Arkham Asylum theming, which for some reason you can see when you poke your head around this corner, which I don't think you're really supposed to do, but I'm quite a curious person, so yeah, I find myself looking at all kinds of things that maybe normal guests wouldn't really notice. We had a quick look at the new attractions in the Wizard of Oz precinct, which include Flight of the Wicked Witch and Kansas Twister. Kansas Twister appeared to only be running one train today on the yellow track, which at first I was a little confused about, but if they were having issues, I suppose it is good that they were at least running one train rather than no trains at all. Although it was a bit strange seeing just the one train running. Not something I'm used to. Flight of the Wicked Witch seemed to be having some slow operations as usual, with quite long waits between cycles. I hope this is something they can kind of iron out, because it is a great coaster, but it's not something I really re-ride because of the wait time. Outside Dorothy's house, you get a good view of the two coasters, and in the distance we noticed that you could see the statue of Doomsday, which used to stand above the ride as part of the sign, which I have to say was one of the coolest signs in Australia for a ride. So I hope that they do something with this. If it's not going to be reused for any of the rides, I think it would make such a cool float maybe for the DC superheroes and supervillains parade. Or maybe they'll use it in a maze for Fright Nights, who knows. As long as they reuse it, I think that would be a good result, because it is really high quality, as well as all the other theming in the DC Supervillains Unleashed area. Theme Park Ogre also spotted behind Paradise Country. You can see parts of Doomsday Destroyer sitting in their plot of land, which does make me wonder what they have planned for the attraction, if they're going to repurpose any of it, or maybe they're going to resell it to another theme park in Australia. I will be releasing a separate video on my channel covering my personal wish list for Movie World and possible attractions or additions that they could make to improve the experience. So stay tuned for that. If there's something you had in mind, please feel free to leave a comment, because I always find it really interesting hearing other people's ideas, and that's the thing that gets me the most excited, is more of the creative decisions and the vision behind the attractions. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. And that brings me to the end of this YumYum Report on Movie World. If you enjoyed, please feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And if you would like to support the channel even more, you can become a member, which will give you access to new videos before the public, and I'll also give you a special shout out and thanks at the end of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!